What's up, everyone? Okay, so we're gonna do another overview. I'm gonna call it an overview of a folding knife. I realize I think I've only done Spyderco folding knife overviews slash reaction videos, you know. And that's because I think Spyderco really gets it right. The ergos work for me. They've got a ton of designs. You know, their steel choice, especially when it comes to sprints. You know, they've got steels. They're rocking steels that you know, a lot of companies don't even use. The Carpenter steels, you know, CTS 20CP, CTS XHP, you know, S90V in a production knife. You know, Spyderco has done more than one knife where that really pushes the envelope in that way. So yeah, I mean, they're probably my favorite folding knife company. In fact, they are. No reason to beat around the bush. I also, you know, but I do like some others. Chris Reeve. I've got some Chris Reeves out on the table here for comparison purposes. I've got a plain Jane Sebenza, Umnum, and a Sebenza, Micarta Sebenza Insingo, which I love, by the way. But that's, if you read the title, then you know what the video is about. So that's inside this pouch here. It's a 3.5-inch XM18, Rick Hinderer XM18, and it's a nice knife. You know, it's got pond scum scale on it. We've also got the kind of bronze anodized standoffs in there. I thought about getting the bronze anodized pocket clip, but we'll see. You know, it's a flipper, 20 CV Duratec 20 CV blade. It's you know, everybody knows about Hinderers, but they've got you know, they got the thick tip. Basically, it's a hard use knife. Is what it's billed as. And I think it, you know, I think it fits that. I think it fits that description. Again, pond scum scale. Actually came with a black one, which they CNC. The pond scum's kind of interesting. It actually looks exactly like the name implies. It seems to have different colors of G10, kind of. There's definitely sort of a jade green in there, but you know, maybe some blue on top. It's also kind of translucent. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. In putting this scale on, I can tell you with certainty that the tolerances are incredible, incredibly high. It was hard to put the scale on because the thing didn't want to come apart because it just fit together so well. Lock up right there. This is the only Hinderer I've ever had. I think I might like the one without the flipper. You gotta, at least on this one, you got to kind of do a little flick with the wrist to get it to fly out like that. Thumb studs act as the blade stop, so there's nothing back here. You see this little post sticking out there. Excuse the bruise on my finger, under my fingernail there. That little post sticking out there actually will catch the blade. That's the interior blade stop, which this is a Gen 3. They've done away with that on the Gen 4. The Gen 4 now has got a stop pin back here, if I remember correctly. But admittedly, I'm not a Hinderer. I don't follow it, so I'm not positive about that. This is a flat grind on here. They call it a Spanto grind. Retains a lot of thickness all the way to the end. They got, you know, the swedge up here. The choil is big enough to get your finger in there to choke up on it. This 20 CV, I really like it. This one's got a stonewash blade, stonewashed titanium side. Centered nicely when closed. So I mean, it's really a you know, I traded for this one. I traded a double gunner grip SMF with 3V steel for this. I don't know if I like the gunner grip. If it was a SMF with 3V and you know, concealed carry, I still have it. I wouldn't have done the trade. But the gunner grip, you know, this is much more appealing than the gunner grip to me because it's a lot more comfortable. But this thing's made really nicely. As everybody watching this video knows, I'm sure, you can't really get a Hinderer directly from Rick Hinderer unless you're fire, EMS, police, I believe. See, I like to use I actually like the thumb stud more. I'm gonna bump the camera here. Move it into final position. Juke! The thumb stud for me, you know, works great. So I'm not. I don't think if I were to get another one, I wouldn't have the flipper. On this knife, I just don't think the flipper is necessary, and that's a personal thing. The thumb stud works great. I find it works better. You know, you got your lanyard hole. Uses nice big hardware. The pivot's it's a big beefy pivot. Again, 20 CV Duratec steel. I like it a lot. He also makes them in CTS XHP. I've seen them in S35VN. Then there's probably some others. Got some jimping up here, but it's very smooth. You know, it doesn't really grip. I mean, it's kind of interesting. It feels really smooth, but there is a bit of bite to it. I mean, it's done well. If you're a jimping dude, you know, I don't think you'd be disappointed. You can see that pond scum there. You can kind of see through to the screw. The pond scum really does it for me, you know. I think I'm happy with the choice, and it looks good with those anodized standoffs. And I may still grab the anodized pocket clip. The clip can be switched from tip up to tip down. The lock bar cutout is reasonably sized. Some of them, like the ZT 550 and 551, I don't know, to me that just seems like the lock bar cutout's too thin. This one's got some nice nice girth to it. Pocket clip works great, not a whole lot sticks out. The pocket clip sits it down in pretty good in your pocket, and it holds on too. I mean, when you got a knife this expensive and you're carrying it around, the pocket clip better hold on. You know, the pocket clip better not let go. You know. So, you know, continuing on, I think we've covered just about everything. You can see the way the lock bar is cut out here. Get your thumb in there. The G10 scale also goes up a little higher than the titanium liner on the other side, and you can get your thumb right in there. I'm more of a, you know, I'm more of a slicer knife kind of guy. I don't, you know, I'm not a prying. I don't pry things with my knife. You know, I guess I'm kind of the right tool for the right job kind of guy. So, you know, a knife like this that's this thick does not slice as good, you know, isn't as preferable to me as something like, say, this paramilitary 2 next to it. You know, this paramilitary 2 is probably my favorite knife at this point. I've showed this before. It's a 20CP, CTS 20CP, which is an awesome steel. With the Crine regrind. I don't think I've showed it with the new camera, so you can see this is more my speed. I'm not going to be prying anything, you know. And Spyderco does tend to make slicers, so you can see they're comparably sized as far as blade length, although obviously the belly's a little different. We line up the choils here, and actually the you know, they're very similar in size. You can see fingers still on the choil. They're very comparable. So carrying on, I guess the biggest thing with the Hinderer is to me is the cost. Again, I traded for mine for this one. I did buy the scale and the anodized standoffs direct from Hinderer, but the point being is you know, you can't just go and buy a knife from Rick Hinderer unless you buy a knife at like a knife show, you know, or something like that, where he's got some, he brought them to sell, you know. Otherwise you're gonna have to be, like I said before, EMS, you know. So, and because of that, you've pretty much got to buy them from the secondary market. And because of that, because they're so rare, they're expensive. I mean, I've seen them go for $800, you know, which is crazy talk in my opinion. I mean, let's start with the large Sebenza. Now, I mean, you gotta give it to the Hinderer on blade steel, no doubt about it. The blade steel, the Duratec 20CV is better than S30V in my opinion, which is what this large Sebenza has. And they are slightly different use, but I guess my point is, you know, they're similar enough. You can see the length here. The Sebenza is slightly longer, both in handle and in blade. If we compare blade lengths, I think there's a video of this online. I'm just going to put it up here real quick because they're both right here. If we line up edge to edge, you can see Sebenza is longer. My point being, Sebenza, Chris Reeve knives in general are built to tolerances equal to a Hinderer, in my opinion. Again, blade steel obviously better on the Hinderer. That's true. I admit it. But there are Hinderers out there with S35BN. Maybe it's possible that the XM18 is more comparable to, as far as use, you know, the reason they were built. The Namzan is supposed to be, you know, a harder use knife. So, you know, again, not anywhere near as thick as the Hinderer in the tip, but that's all right by me. Again, I like a slicer. You know, so if we bring those up here, you see the tip difference there. Hinderer wins, you know. So can the Hinderer be used for harder tasks? Probably, but you know, I guess my point is the Namzan can be bought for, let's look it up because I don't remember. Namzan, yeah, $425. So 425 bucks. You can pay almost double for an XM18. Now I think if you can get it directly from Rick, that's a different story. Obviously, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about realistically right now in 2012, you know, whatever day it is, buying a Hinderer knife, you're gonna have to get pretty lucky, get on a list and wait, you know, for a while, etc., to get a Hinderer. Whereas the Umnumzan is readily available. Umnumzan also has a nice amount of meat at the lock bar. It looks to me to be about the same. You know, so I guess that's my main point. Is I guess to boil it down, I think the Hinderer is overpriced. Is it a great knife? Yeah. You know, is it built like a brick shit house? Yes. Is it worth $800? No. You know, I've got a Andrew Demko 8010 on the way, which should be here actually. Probably it'll be here, you know, within the month. That's less expensive than buying a Hinderer, and I'm going to compare it when I get it, you know, to this Hinderer. But you know, the aftermarket prices on a Hinderer, I think, are, you know, I think that's the problem. So those knives that have come out from ZT, you know, like the 551, which I didn't like the 551. Or 550 for that matter. It just wasn't for me. But the 560, I've held that. I don't own one. It looks to be a winner. You know, I guess I personally, and again, this is all personal, obviously, guys, but I would sell this knife before any of these. You know, will this one pry more, and is it tougher? Blah blah blah. Yes, it is. Does it have better blade steel? Yes, it does. Is it cool? Yeah, it's cool as shit, you know. But for me personally, you know, I like a knife to cut, and I prefer all of these, you know, any one of these to this knife, no question. And again, that's that's an opinion thing. There's a lot of people out there who would pick this knife over these any day of the week. So that's obviously that's an opinion thing. I mean, in actuality, I would prefer this. I would rather have this knife to any knife on this table. You know, and this is a, you know, I've changed the scales on this and had it reground. So, you know, but to buy a CTS 20CP Paramilitary 2 when it came out, I paid like 130 bucks. You know. 130 bucks. So I guess it's all about what you're after. You know, but that's just my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. You know, that's why we do make these videos. Everybody does, so you can get, you know, a whole bunch of different opinions on knives and that you're maybe looking at, etc. You know, as Nothing Fancy would say, they're data points, you know, or opinion points, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I mean, I really like, you know, don't get me wrong, I like the knife, but you know, I think I've said everything I had to say. So let's do another run over it, take another look at it. It's definitely cool, you know. I especially like the pond scum. There's nothing quite like it, you know. I like it quite a bit. You can see the texture is, you know, it's not like a peel ply. It's larger. Those ridges are actually, should be able to see that there. Yeah. This blue, this stuff that's almost blue-green is raised. And again, it's got the tolerances are, you know, I thought, oh, you know, I'll get these standoffs, piece of cake. I'll swap them out in no time. It wasn't easy. It was hard. These pieces here, these female sides, go into the standoffs. It was tough. Tougher than I thought it was going to be anyway, but I got it done. You can see the lock bar contact area there. I would like to try the Gen 4 slicer grind. I'd like to give that a shot. Maybe someday, you know. The stonewash is real nice. I've sharpened it, and you can see there's a, you can always kind of see on these where they've been stropped. But no question, it's nicely made. But you know, I guess it all depends what you're looking for. If you want to, you know, pry two 2x4s that are nailed together apart, you know, this obviously would be a better choice than the Chris Reeves. But you know, in my opinion, a hammer and a crowbar is for prying. You know, is for prying two 2x4s apart. So anyway, kick-ass knife. I probably won't sell it. But it, you know, because it is a nice knife. So, but I just figured I'd throw my opinion out there. Put a video up, you know, and let me know what you guys think, or if you've got any questions. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.